Hi, my name is Jo and I'm one of the midwives working out of Brecon Birth Centre, and I wanted to talk a little bit today about what happens when you get to your due date and your baby hasn't arrived, and just sort of run through what your midwife might do with you when you get to 40 weeks and then the 41-week appointment. So especially are we talking about a membrane sweep, which you might have heard of as a stretch and sweep, and also the aromatherapy oils that in Powys we are all now trained to administer. So alongside the aromatherapy, we also would recommend doing some acupressure points as well. And we'll talk about all the other things that might help to start labour off. So when you get to 40 weeks, you can have a chat with your midwife about the possibility of having what we call a membrane sweep, or it's sometimes called a stretch and sweep. You may have heard of it. It's an opportunity for the midwife to assess the favourability and how ripe your cervix might be. So it would involve a vaginal examination, so it's like an internal examination. It doesn't last very long, a couple of minutes, and it's not terribly uncomfortable. It just allows the midwife to assess to see how favourable the cervix is. Now, if it's slightly open, which it might be towards the end of pregnancy, the midwife would be able to insert a finger into the neck of the womb, which is just the cervix there, and gently stimulate and perhaps strip away some of the membranes which are attached to the lower part of the womb. And in this respect, it might get some contractions established for you, and can be quite useful. Is one of the tricks we can use to help get labour started. So in addition to having a membrane sweep, your midwife will discuss with you the opportunity to use some aromatherapy to help get your labour started. We use a combination of oils for different things. So if you're feeling very anxious and your baby hasn't arrived and you're 40 weeks pregnant, we could make up a blend which would include oils, for example, frankincense, which is really known for its properties in calming and settling down and calming energies. Several ways you can use the oils. We can make up a blend, and we use a base oil. It's either almond or some equivalent, and then we would add a couple of drops each of our chosen oil for your blend. We can also make a specific blend to get your contractions to start, and this would involve something called clary sage or jasmine, and it smells very lovely. Actually, it's very, very relaxing. So we would make up 10, 15, 20 mils for you to take home, and we would instruct you how you can use that before you leave us. So, in combination with the aromatherapy oils, your midwife will talk to you about using some acupressure to help get labour started. So, what she will do is show you where the points are, and for demonstration purposes, I'm going to put some of the oil on one of the points that we suggest that you try at home. This point is called large intestine 4. And it's based on the time-old tradition of acupuncture. So this first point will be found on your hand, and if you put your thumb and your first finger together, you will get a mound of flesh. If you get some oil on your skin and place your thumb over that plump part of your hand and apply some rotating kind of pressure. And you do that, and it feels a bit numb and achy, and you do that for half a minute or until your hand starts to ache, and then you might stop, and then you would do the other side. This point is particularly good for getting the baby's head to go downward into the pelvis. It's good to help the cervix to ripen, and it's very good to help establish contractions. It's one of the main points in the body to help with pain relief. So whether that's toothache, or you've sprained your arm, or in this particular case, you're doing it for contractions with labour, it's really, really good to stimulate the endorphins. so to provide you with some pain relief whilst you're in labour. But in this stage, for induction of labour, we want you to press them to get the contractions to start. So the second point that the midwife will instruct you how to use will be found on your lower leg. It's if you feel for your ankle bone on the inside of your lower leg, and you place one of your hands just on the height of that ankle bone, you will find the point is just at the top of your hand here. Now, if you feel, you can feel for your shin bone. You don't want to be pressing on that bone. You want to be pressing just behind the bone, that you can sometimes feel a little indentation. Now, you could get your birth partner to do this for you with your legs out in front of you on a stool. Whilst you're pressing your finger points, your partner can be pressing these ankle points, and to do them at the same time. So you'd have both thumbs on both legs. But just be careful he's not pressing, he or she isn't pressing on the bone, they're tucking in just behind the bone, and it's one hand breadth above the ankle bone. Okay, just to recap then, today we've spoken about having a membrane sweep with your midwife potentially, if your baby's due date comes and goes. We have discussed aromatherapy and how to use it alongside acupressure as well. And just to say to enjoy the last few days of pregnancy. I know they can feel very long, but oxytocin is the hormone that you need to get everything going. And if you're relaxed and you're having massage and you're having nice walks and nice food and maybe making love, which could certainly help bring your baby forward. So good luck everyone, and we look forward to seeing you in Paris.